feet.
Okay, let's go.
So, just thought I'd do a quick video just to clear a few things up on what people think about these bikes. This is obviously a Pulse Adrenaline 125. Just do a quick walk around of it. This is like the 4th phase it's been in. It's obviously got the Sinus panels on it. The fucking chaff cannon. Street front, knobbly rear. It's a mudguard from a CRF 250. Sorry, CR250. Kawasaki KLX 125. Generic spotlight, which is extremely fucking bright. It did have a Polysport headlight on it that had a stock Sinus headlight on it. At one point it did have the Pulse Adrenaline headlight on it, but that was like 2 owners ago. I've had this bike for just under a year now. I think coming up to 11 months now, 10-11 months. It's got rod knock. The valves are tappy. It's lost power. Does about 55 mile an hour now. It's got KTM 85 or 125cc forks my mate gave me. Fork guards. It's got the Sinus forks on it. So basically everything on this bike is Pulse apart from the mudguard, front number plate, fork guards, forks, tank and panels, rear panels and the tail. And the tail tidy is a Polysport one as well, but it's missing the brake light at the moment. I'm waiting for a new one because I smashed it. It's gone for about, since I've owned it, about 3 chains, 3 chain sprockets, 3 rear sprockets, and I've put 1 front sprocket and my mate put another one on the front before I bought it. It's had no air filters, it's had 2 oil changes, it's on about, I'd say about 30 to 35,000 kilometers now. It's had its oil and filter changed about every 10,000 kilometers, I'd say, from when I owned it. So it's had about 3 oil changes roughly. I haven't looked at this after this thing, it's literally just been ragged off road. It's got one of these fucking flexible plates on it. I don't really give a shit about my reg. I mean, it's there if you want to copy it. If you've got a Sinus Pulse thingy, feel free, I don't give a shit. It's been in 2 wrecks since I've owned it, well 3 really. A slow slide on the right hand side. I wasn't going very fast. The second one was it went into the back of a car, and the third one was I got knocked off, which is when I broke my arm. But I mean, it does its job. The only thing that's broken on it now, I did have the brake lever, the old one, this is off a Pulse Adrenaline, newer one, that bent all the way around back on itself. The pins snapped out of there, so I just put a bigger bolt on it, put it on really fucking tight. The bracket for this bent, but still works perfectly. What else happened? Oh, the forks blew out, both of them. The front spindle bent like boom. The Speedo driving housing's got a crack in it, but I've been riding it for ages now. The Speedo housing's missing off here because it's stuck on the old spindle, which is in a skip somewhere now. So I'm going to get a new one of them soon, hopefully. Other than that, it's got 2 sprockets and spaces on the front, so the wheel alignment's like way off. Works though. The gear lever, it works. It's a bit wobbly, but it works. Side stand used to rub on the old side stand used to rub on the swing arm, but I got no swing on for it. Just haven't fitted it, and I haven't been bothered to fit it for like the past 4 months. It's got a Mitas CO2 rear tyre. It's got the Pilot Street front tyre, but soon I'm going to be putting a different tyre on it. It's had a brand new front brake caliper. It had a rear brake caliper at one point. It's been through about 4 handlebars, 3 sets of grips. These are generic eBay jobby master cylinder, oversized master cylinder ring clutch, which I snapped the ball off-roading. It's got a new seat as well, the odd seat's inside there. This is the second exhaust, my first one got robbed. So I put this one, still too fucking loud, to put the other DB killer in it, still too fucking loud. It's a little wobbly, again, does the fucking job. The airbox boots are ripped. It's pretty much everything. Oh, the head bearings are gone. Don't know if you can hear. Don't know if that's picked up on the camera, but it rubs. The rubber boot that holds the tank on the right hand side is missing. That's why the tank's wobbly. And that's also why there's a rag there to stop it from rubbing. It's got handlebar raisers on it. That's pretty much everything. The wiring loom's been completely stripped out, apart from the bare essentials. There used to be an alarm on it, but I ripped that out because it was just useless. I've never had an alarm on anything of mine. It just gets locked in the garage overnight, so there's no point. Again, that's where the tail light should be. Don't know if it's going to pick up on camera. Probably not. No, probably not. But yeah, it's been ragged. I'll try and see if it'll start. I haven't started it yet, so it's pretty cold. Kill switch, dickhead. To the choke on. There we go. I'll have to talk a little bit loud over it, but yeah, it's just been ragged its whole life. So obviously, it's got stupid amounts of rod knock. It's on its third ignition barrel as well. I've broken two of them. So yeah, it's got mad amounts of rod knock. The valves are tappy. The timing's probably out, but who gives a fuck. So now that you get to know the bike a little bit, you know everything that's broken and been replaced and botched. Right, my opinion on Chinese bikes. This is my second Chinese bike I've owned. I've had about 20 bikes or so now, give or take. Second chinky bike. I've got a Honda NSR 125. I had a YBR 125. I got a Yamaha Aerox 50. I've had loads of fucking Taiwanese and Japanese bikes. Technically my third chinky bike because I had a crosser, it's on my channel, that had a Suzuki 200cc engine in it, but I don't count that because it's a Chinese frame, but Suzuki engine, you know, that's the main fucking part, otherwise it's a pedal bike, innit? But yeah, my overall on Chinese bikes, the first chinky bike I had was a Huniao, which fell apart. It just slowly, after I was in an accident with it, someone knocked me off. His fault, his insurance company covered it and everything, so fuck off all you cunts, they're gonna hate. Yeah, that first, that just fell apart after that. That's really doing my fucking head in, fuck off. Anyway, so yeah, that fell apart. But this is my, technically, I've had it longest. It's the second bike I've had the longest. I've had it for almost a year. My YBR I had for a year. The NSRs I've had for about 5 months now. I'm probably going to end up keeping it, to be honest. It's just a good rag about, and it's a good backup just in case the NSR goes like it has. That's why it's in the garage. That's why it's not in there. But yeah, down to the balls of it. Yeah, my opinion on Chinese bikes. In general, all of them, it's hit and miss. It depends on how it's been looked after in the past, how it was broken in, how the previous owners ridden it. If you buy it new and you look after it, they'll probably last fucking forever. But that was my kind of my ideal. Ology, I don't know, fucking English, I don't know, I don't speak it. That was that's what I used to think about them. That if you looked after them, yeah, they'd last. Whereas with a Japanese bike, you can just rag the tits off it from day one, and it'd probably end up lasting you quite a while. But saying that, this bike was ragged from day one. The first owner ragged it, blew it up. Second owner was my mate Joe. He put a piston in it, I think. I can't remember the details, but he used to ride it. He fucking keeps all of his bikes immaculate. I'll put up a photo of what this used to look like, and then the phrases at the in between this. And then my mate Jake owned it, who I bought it off, and he looked after it mostly, did oil changes and all that shit. He cleaned it most of the time, but he didn't really fix the little things here and there. No offense, Jake, I'm not digging at you there. But overall, I haven't looked after this piece of shit at all. I've ragged the living shite out of it. I didn't change the oil for like 4 months, 5 months. I didn't change the chain sprockets because the teeth were pointing over like that. That's how bad it got. Because I literally just used it for off-roading just to piss about, and I didn't really give a shit about it. And even with all that, I mean, I abuse bikes. I've blown up quite a lot of them. I don't really look after them unless I paid a lot of money for them. There's only 600 quid for this, so I can't really fucking complain. I've definitely had my money's worth. I've probably spent about 200 quid overall. Maybe a little bit more on just aesthetics and tyres and chain sprockets, oil and all that shit. I've probably spent about 400 quid on fucking number plates. I've got 4 of them now. But that's the most road legal-ish one I could find. That's flexible and smaller, not like a fucking front door. The stock size, I'd say, is probably about that size there. Just to put in comparison, you know, you didn't win that one on your bike, so fuck that. But yeah, I've ragged the absolute living shit out of it. It's slow as fuck now. It's got a decent amount of torque. The clutch is slippy when you're proper hammering it up some hill climbs. But overall, it's a fucking mint bike. I mean, the only thing that hasn't been changed on this thing is the engine and the carb. Well, no, I lie. Jake changed the carb. This has got the old carb back on it now because the other one got fucked. So it's got the same carb on it now, and the carb's probably got about 20,000 kilometers on it roughly. It runs rich as well. Just thought I'd mention that. It's got dodgy welds on the exhaust. I mean, obviously they are dreadful. But overall, I put my trust in Chinese bikes. I think from where they started to now, they have improved massively, and it's a game of luck. It depends what bike you get, what brand it is, when it was made, who owned it, blah blah blah. It's just a game of luck basically. Whereas with a Japanese bike, if it was a Japanese bike and it's been ragged from day one, it'll probably be alright. It might need a few things here and there. It might look like a shed, but fucking who cares? With a Chinese bike, if it's been ragged from day one, you'll end up with something like this. It runs, it does its job, it's slow as fuck, but it gets there and it does its thing. Got a little bit interrupted there. But yeah, my overall opinion on Chinese bikes is that they'll do their fucking job and piss off. Fuck's sake. Yeah, they'll do their job, they'll work. This is a fucking workhorse, it's not dead yet, so if it does die, I'll be proud of it. I'll thank the bike for its service at the end of its life. When it does blow up, it's not if, it's when. But right, I'm gonna go for a brap now, so I'll speak to you in a bit.